Hello and welcome to the Mum Boss Method podcast. If you are listening to this and you can notice a slight difference in the sound quality that I've got going on right now, it's because I'm recording this from the side of a swimming pool in France. And I'm not going to apologise. I'm on my holidays, still doing a podcast this week, but everyone's either asleep, i.e. the teenagers. Hold on, I need to move my AirPods. Or they've gone out for a walk or gone shopping. So I'm taking this opportunity to record this week's podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, yes, I'm in my swimming costume by the pool with my giant glasses and hat on. What a spectacle for you all. So yes, apologies if part of the sound quality is not as good as it normally is, but I'm doing my best with what I've got. So this week's Mum Boss at Home community check-in, also including the Last Diet Club local ladies and my 31 for 31 ladies, and how I'm supporting them whilst I'm away. So let's get going with wins then. Thank you to everyone that checked in. Rosie has been adding protein in her dinner solutions from Tesco's instead of crisps when she's under time pressure. Becky's biggest win is not gaining weight. Other Becky, not stress eating and completing some workouts. Laura is back to tracking nearly everything, even though she's eaten over her calories, at least she's tracking and seeing it. Most of the time she's eating fruit and veg and she's done plenty of exercise. Well done, Laura. Lisa is starting to practice gratitude every day with the kids and it's definitely helping with her mindset. I love that, bringing that in with the kids. Ruth is sleeping better and getting into a routine with her habits. Julie is turning away from chocolate she turned away from chocolate on Tuesday night when she was grumpy. She realised it wouldn't help her feel better, so why bother having it? Love that. Brenda's not felt hungry and had less craving for sweet things. Helen has been back eating loads more veg and much less carbs since being back home from her trip. Tish completed 3 gym workouts. Well done, Tish. Claire has had good eating, good choices at a dinner out. Jamie's making lots of time to stop and just breathe. Love that, Jamie. Well done. Stacey was on holiday last week, and though sleep wasn't great, she enjoyed being up before everyone else and having time to think and set herself up for the day. I'm loving that on my holiday as well, getting up before everyone else. Sophie's kept up with her training in steps, and Sarah's completed 5 gym workouts. Well done, Sarah. Then Leslie hasn't been well for the last few days. Sorry to hear that, Leslie. She didn't get any exercise or steps in because she's been so ill, but she did do a meal plan and ate as well as she could. Previously, she would have just grabbed a couple of slices of toast and bunged a pizza in the oven. So well done, Leslie. Ray's getting some exercise in. Jessica hit a personal best of steps in one day of 16k. Well done, Jessica. And Emily tried on clothes in the changing room. Previously, this would have caused a full-blown breakdown and feeling awful. She was pleased with what she saw in the mirror and saw great progress. Sometimes seeing yourself from a different angle can highlight changes you haven't noticed. Absolutely. And then another highlight of her week was that the Last Diet Club local ladies went for a walk on Wednesday evening whilst I was away because we didn't have our meeting, and that made her day. It was so lovely to be, or it is so lovely to be part of such a lovely community. Absolutely agree with that. And I gave them a little FaceTime as well. Okay, let's go on to some questions and challenges and see how we can help everyone then. So I'm taking iron tablets. I started them last week. My energy levels are low and they're giving me an upset stomach. Any suggestions? So iron tablets shouldn't necessarily make your energy levels low, but the reason for you taking the iron tablets, so therefore the lack of iron, will be what's making your energy levels low. So taking them should be starting to help. I don't specifically have any suggestions for the upset tummy because I know that this is a side effect of taking iron tablets. I would speak to your GP if it's not improving because perhaps there's a different format for the iron tablets that you can take, but It's not really my area of expertise. I'd say get plenty of fruit, veg, and water and try to move your body. So I know you've been saying that you're really tired, but movement is a great antidote to tiredness, even when that tiredness is down to low iron. So even just getting walks in would be really helpful. But yeah, I would maybe also suggest eating little and often and drinking plenty of water with the iron tablets. But if it doesn't improve, please speak to the doctor. My arms have hurt this week, so I didn't swim. I've been tired, so I didn't exercise. I've had migraine all week. I did, however, walk every day. So, my answer to this one is it's a really fine balance between listening to your body and making yourself do something because you know actually in the long run it's going to help you. A bit like the previous question, we can tell ourselves that we're tired and we've got low iron levels and we've got no energy, but actually getting out for a walk, getting out and doing a bit of exercise can really boost that energy. Now, migraines are completely horrible. I've been there. Everyone deals with them differently. I actually have a client who was having migraines the other week and she found it helpful to exercise. I, for example, have to drink caffeine when I have a migraine. That's what helps me. It feels really weird, but I have read that that is quite common for some people to feel that they need caffeine to make them feel better. Well done for walking every day. I want to make a more general point on the aches and pains, okay? And it's not necessarily specifically, oh, it's windy. Sorry if you're just getting a load of wind noises. Um, so, a more general point on the aches and pains. I'm not saying this is specifically for you. Um, if you're finding that you've got aches and pains from DOMS, so delayed onset muscle soreness, so if you've just started working out and you're feeling really achy after doing those workouts, often you will say to yourself, oh, I can't work out, I'm too sore. Actually, moving is the best thing for that soreness. Keeping those muscles going is so much better than just staying still. So if you're sore from working out, then trying to move is important. It's the same thing with the tiredness. And like I said to the person before, we often say I'm tired, so I'm not going to work out, when actually it's the best thing for us to do to help with the tiredness. Now, you need to make that decision on, you've said here you were tired all week. Now, I know this person has had migraines, has been sore and been tired. So combined, maybe the best option for that person was just a week with no exercise. But in general, if we're feeling tired, the answer for one day might be, right, get an early night, get a good night's sleep, and then tomorrow do some movement to help. Because we could continue to say we're tired for the whole week and then we're not actually helping ourselves. Like I said, this specifically might not be the case here for this individual. The three excuses they've listed down here were that their arms have hurt, they were tired, and they had a migraine. So just thinking about those things individually and thinking about how you can tackle them. And often, like I say, choosing to not do something isn't always the best thing for us. This same person is wrapping up her week at work this week and then going off on an abroad holiday for the first time in a long time. So they've got really, really active holiday plans. So enjoy that. The other thing I was going to say is, and I've completely forgotten what podcast number it is, so I'm going to find that whilst I'm talking to you. But I have a podcast that you can listen to, which will help you with holidays and how to approach them. And it's really how I'm approaching this holiday. Oh, there goes my sun. There goes my sun umbrella. Never mind, I'll be all right for now. It's exactly how I'm approaching this holiday. So it's episode 101. How to approach your holiday without coming back and feeling like you have to, completely restrict yourself because you feel like you've gone completely mental on holiday. So give that episode a listen if you want to. Oh, I'm surprised I can still see my screen now. My umbrella just went down. Never mind. But I don't know why I'm saying never mind. It's good that I can still see my screen. Okay. What else? Right. I plan to work out most days, but I only managed 3. Okay, 3. I'm going to answer this question a little bit later on as well. Because there's a similar question, or this was a challenge, not a question, but someone's asked a question about this. 3 workouts, 3 strength workouts is amazing. That is like what I want you to be aiming for. If you can do more, great, but you don't need to work out every day. So I think that's brilliant. Well done. What else have we got? Okay, I've eaten over calories and not always my fruit and veg, but at least I can see it and know it. So this person has said that they have gone back to tracking, and although they're eating over their calories, and knowing this person, over their calories probably just means over their calorie deficit, not over their calorie maintenance. But this is the power of tracking. And I always say to all of you, you don't have to track calories to lose weight, to lose fat. The power of tracking is actually making you aware of what you're eating rather than just being the only way to lose body fat. Okay, here's a good one. I have, not good because you have this, by the way, just it's a really good question. I have plantar fasciitis. I never know whether I'm saying that right. I used to have it really bad when I was heavier. Once I started fasting, it practically stopped overnight. It's come back really bad now and very painful. I'm struggling to run 5K. I know you're not a fan of fasting and I understand why, but there's lots of research to suggest it really works for this kind of thing. If I go back to trying to fast a wee bit, I don't really want to. I enjoy breakfast now, but will maybe eat a bit later. Do you think I can still lose weight eating 3 meals close together? Or do you have any tips for plantar fasciitis? Okay, so you can all imagine how much I've got to say on this. I'm going to try and take this through in a sensible order, which is hilarious for me, isn't it? Okay, so firstly, I really resonate with plantar fasciitis, and I do think it's quite a time of year thing. I get it terribly in the summer, especially after I get back from holidays. And I've put that down to the fact that during the summer, I wear flip-flops or Birkenstocks or sliders, or I walk around barefoot loads more than I do in colder times. So I'm not wearing supportive shoes or no shoes at all. Remember, I'm not a physio, but, and this would be the advice a physio, a doctor, or the NHS website would give you, is lay off running for a bit. Try not to walk around in unsupportive shoes or no shoes. Make sure you've got shoes on all the time, and stick to weight training and walking to help it to ease up. Plantar fasciitis is actually an inflammation of the thick muscle underneath your heel. So you need to not aggravate that because it's already inflamed, and by doing more on it, you're going to aggravate it and inflame it even more. Now, just talking about the fasting piece, okay, to be really clear, I have no issue with fasting when it doesn't mess with your mindset around food and it's done sensibly. It's one tool amongst lots and lots of different tools to lose fat, but it is not the right tool for everyone. And my belief is that fasting for 20 hours a day, which this person used to do, I need a sip of my water, is unnecessary. It's also not a fail-safe way to lose body fat because you can still overconsume calories within your eating window. So just as a reminder, intermittent fasting is where you fast for a period in the day and then you make your eating window smaller. Excuse me. Now there's lots of different protocols around this. Some of the most extreme are where you are only allowed to eat for 4 hours of the day and you fast for 20 of them. We all do a form of intermittent fasting because we sleep. Okay, we all do some kind of intermittent fasting, just generally from sleeping. Um, and, for me, for example, not when I'm on holiday, but we tend to finish eating like 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I don't eat my breakfast until 9 a.m. most days. So I fast for 14 hours, meaning that my eating window is a window of, what's that, 10 hours. Okay. Some people, they'll fast for a bit longer. They maybe don't eat breakfast and then they'll eat, from 1 till 7 p.m., for example. But you can still overconsume your calories as women. Let's say you're on 1700 calories, you can still overconsume your calories in a shorter time window. It's not difficult to do. So it's not fail safe. Um, so you've said in your question, can I still lose weight if I eat 3 meals closer together? The answer to that is if you are eating in a calorie deficit, you will lose body fat. It doesn't matter what time your meals are. It doesn't matter if they're close together or further apart, as long as you're in a calorie deficit. The thing that doesn't work about intermittent fasting is that, that eating window, it doesn't matter what eating window it is, can the reason it doesn't work for everyone and the reason it can be really unhelpful is because I know for me personally, let me use myself as an excuse. If I work out first thing in the morning, right? I've been for a run this morning. I was really hungry by the time Tom drove down to the baker's to go and get the breakfast for this morning. I was really hungry at 8:30, and he got back, and by the time we all sat down and stuff, it was 9 o'clock. Let's say I didn't eat that breakfast and I said, no, I'm fasting this morning to save some calories. And then I ate lunch at, say, 1. I am telling you, I would massively overeat at 1 o'clock because I would be so hungry. And then I know that subconsciously I probably would tell myself at dinner time, oh, it's okay, you missed breakfast, so you've got calories spare, you can eat more. And I probably would snack all afternoon as well. So that's why it's not a fail-safe way. If you can stick to your calories and stick to your eating window, that's fine. But in the same measure, it is still just a way of managing your calories. So if you don't learn to manage your calories, it's not going to matter whether you have a 12-hour eating window or a 4-hour eating window. Okay, it does not matter what time you eat your meals, as long as it works for you. Skipping breakfast does not work for me. I would be miserable through till lunchtime. No one would want to be around me, and it just doesn't work. And I would say that's the same for many, many women. Now, that's the reason that often fasting is unhelpful, because subconsciously we think that we've eaten less so we can eat more at those meal times, but also we're so hungry by the time we get to those meal times we uncontrollably eat. Okay, now with regards to the plantar fasciitis, sorry, step back, the fasting. So if you decide you want to slightly change your meal times, then I'm supportive of that, but I believe for you specifically a 4-hour eating window is not helpful. And this goes for everyone. If you want to try fasting, give it a go. But the facts remain that if you are missing a meal, it is harder to hit your protein target. And that was noisy. Protein is super helpful for helping you to manage cravings, for helping you to keep full. So if you are reducing your meals down to 2 meals a day, you need to get 50 grams of protein in both of those meals to hit your 100 grams of protein, right? If it's something that you decide to give a try to, then do, but don't forget that it's not just food that is the cure to plantar fasciitis. Okay, as I said before, it's an inflammation process and a problem. And yes, there is research to show that fasting can help with inflammation. okay? But your first protocol is to rest and always have supportive shoes on your feet. I'd then focus on eating as much nutrient dense food as possible and lay off things that cause inflammation. Now, specifically to each person, that's going to be different. But in general, things like alcohol, anything super processed, anything super sugary is going to cause you inflammation. Inflammation. If you then want to push your breakfast a bit later, rather than skip it because you enjoy it, then go for it. I hope that makes sense and is helpful. Please let me know if you've got any other questions. Okay, let's find the next question. Next question. Sorry, I'm on my smaller screen, so you have to bear with me here. Okay, so this is a question from one of the ladies that's doing 31 for 31. She also comes to my boot camp. And she said, can I advise on whether or not to eat dinner before Thursday boot camp? So this is a really good question to help people when it comes to, meal timings around exercise. I'll read this question and then I'm going to answer it. Okay, so a few Thursdays ago, this lady wasn't able to complete the boot camp. It was a warm day, both inside and outside of the hall that we were doing it. She'd only had a small snack an hour before boot camp because she was planning to eat her dinner afterwards when she got back home. Thinking about it, it could have been that she hadn't drunk enough water that day too, so maybe that would be the answer. Now, the general question about meal timings and exercise here are a really good one, and the fact of it is that there is no right or wrong answer for everyone. Everyone is really different. So I know a couple of my clients, even if they were working out at 6 a.m., they would need to have a little snack before they even went for a walk because they would feel sick. When I go to the gym at 6 a.m. this morning, I went for a run at 7 a.m. I did not eat before. This morning I had a cup of coffee. At home I would have decaf coffee, but I had a cup of coffee with a splash of oat milk, and then I just went for my run. If I was working out anywhere from about 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock, I probably would eat something. My only issue with that is I then come home and I'm starving again, and I find I could potentially end up eating more on days like that. But this is about understanding what works for you. And unfortunately, there's a bit of trial and error. I would recommend that you don't eat any less than an hour before you exercise because the likelihood is it will repeat on you. But if you are working out in the evening, definitely make sure that you have a snack, like a balanced snack, an hour before, and then if you want to have your dinner afterwards. This is something that the Thursday night boot campers and me always talk about, like who's eaten, who hasn't. Most of the ladies don't eat before they come to boot camp, they eat afterwards. But I would definitely recommend that, particularly on hot days, you stay hydrated and you have a snack about an hour before. And that snack might be something like an apple and a baby bell, or an apple and some peanut butter, or a banana, or something like that. Not just a cracker. But have a bit of trial and error with it, I would say. But definitely, I would say on that day, if you hadn't drunk enough that day, that would have a big impact on how you felt on that day. Dehydration is horrific. Dehydration can cause upset stomach, which is ridiculous if you think about it. The body's dehydrated, so then it gets rid of even more water. Stupid. But there's got to be some physiological reason for it. I don't know what it is. But it can cause headaches, it can cause you to be sick. Dehydration, we can survive longer without food than we can without water. So it definitely sounds to me like that might have been dehydration. Okay, next question. As I lose weight, I worry about loose skin, cellulite. Will weight training help with this? It's my arms and thighs I'm worried about. Okay, so for sure, you need to be building muscle. I've talked about this on lots and lots of podcasts. In that, we all want that toned look. We want to look like we exercise. We want to look fit. We want to look healthy. And so building muscle is going to be key to doing that. If you haven't seen my latest Instagram post, go and have a look at it. Not my latest, I posted it the day I went on holiday, so Wednesday. Go and have a look at Wednesday's Instagram post where you can see like a 9 week before and after of me where I have lost some body fat and I have started to, you can start to see a bit more definition in places that I struggled to find definition, which is around my legs. My legs are my biggest area where I have cellulite on my legs, but through muscle training and weight training and a calorie deficit, I have really started to change the shape in my legs. Will that mean I will get rid of cellulite completely? No. Some For some people is incredibly normal. If there are people out there who have none, it's often genetic. So yes, weight training plus your calorie deficit will help, but that weight training needs to be lifting heavy weights. Okay, not it's about pushing yourself. It's about pushing yourself to failure, really, really building that muscle. And then in order to build the muscle and then continuing with your calorie deficit, and that is called body recomposition. However, like I say, for some people, some cellulite is normal. It's genetic, and so actually working on your view of your body and having that love for your body and what it can do is really important. And I have to tell you that for me, that journey started with weightlifting. So keep going. Okay, how do I keep nutrition at the forefront of my mind when there's lots of other stuff going on? How do I keep that as the priority? Um, so there's something that I like to think about, which is how will I eat? How will I move? How will I rest? Okay, eat, move, rest. They're like the three basic things that we need to be doing. Okay. Um, and just thinking about, so eat, move, rest, how will I get these things into my days when there's lots of other stuff going on? And what that means is you can then make a really simple plan of, right, what's breakfast, lunch, and dinner today? When can I get a walk in or a workout in? And what time do I need to go to bed? And I've even brought that on holiday with me. How will I eat? So we're in France. The cheese here is delicious. The bread here is amazing. The pastries are amazing. Do my husband and my brother-in-law and most other people that are here will sit down at breakfast and maybe have a pastry, a couple of chunks of bread, maybe some ham and a few different cheeses, and that's breakfast. Okay, now don't get me wrong, apart from the ham, would I like that to be my breakfast most days? Yes. Will after 5 days I feel like absolute rubbish for eating like that every morning? Yes. So my choice at breakfast is skyr yogurt with some berries. There's my protein, there's my veg. And then some of the days I'm going to have a croissant, or a couple of bits of bread, um, and some cheese, but not every day. And that's not going to be the basis of my breakfast. So that's how I'm eating at breakfast. And that's something that is like what gets done in on these French holidays that we've been doing ever since I got together with Tom. So I know the pattern, but that's my approach. How will I eat at breakfast, right? How will I move? So I've planned in my workouts. What's that looking like? So yesterday I did a workout, a 30-minute workout with my weights that I brought this morning. I went for a run. Tomorrow I'll do another workout Wednesday I'll go for a run, and my plan is to alternate it with 1 or 2 rest days. Right? How will I eat? How will I move? How will I rest? What for me? For me, sleeping in just isn't something that happens. But for example, yesterday I needed a little power nap and I didn't want to power nap in the sun. So I took myself off up to my bedroom at 3 o'clock and I had half an hour sleep because I needed to top up my sleep. So keep it really simple and plan around eat, move, rest. There you go. Also, part of it does become natural. Um, so again, like traveling down here, you there were years where it would just be Haribo in the car, service station baguettes, copious amounts of coffee. And this year I just knew I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to get to the house we're staying at feeling sluggish. So I bought a pack of 6 Pink Lady apples at every stop that we had for our lunches. I picked like things like chicken salads, or one of them was a Caesar salad. Okay, there's dressing on that. I just had half the dressing. Plenty of fruit. Yeah, I had a few Haribos. Um, I had a couple of crisps when the kids opened the crisps, but planning, and then that way, that choice, I planned that choice was already forefront of my mind. Oh, that's what you're all having for a snack in the car? Okay, well, here's mine. Um, but keep that plan really simple. I know for you specifically, and for some of you, this will be true as well. You don't like it when the plan changes. Okay, so if you keep it to eat, move, rest, it's really simple. Okay, what's next? What's next? Okay, so this question comes from someone who was on holiday with their family last week and got lots of comments from their family about why aren't you eating more? Surely you can't be full from just eating that. You're on your holidays, you should be having treats every day. And her question is, how do you deal with negativity of others? How not to let them railroad you into situations you don't want to be in? Um, Honest communication is where I would start on that. This comes from having like built an identity. So the first time I ever brought weights and stuff to my French holiday, some of the family were like, "Oh my God, what are you doing? What are you doing?" Like, "Oh, I can't believe you're doing that." Um, and I'm just signaling to my husband who's got home with the shopping, so I'm going to have to pause in a minute. Um, I can't believe you're working out on holiday. Oh, why aren't you going to have a rest? I've built up the identity now within my family and my husband's family and my family that this is the way I am. I move my body every day, and I'm not going to. I do want to make sure I get fruit and vegetables every day, and there will be protein yogurts in the fridge. So some of it is about your identity and changing it, and that's what being really clear on that's what my goals are, and that's what makes me feel best. But the other parts of it is thinking about you're letting their needs become your problem. It's their problem. If they have a problem with what you're eating and drinking, that's their problem. It's not your problem. So setting your boundaries, this is what I want to eat today. This is what we're doing today. If you want to go and do something else, that's up to you. But this is our plan for the day. This is what I'm snacking on today. Now, I'm fine with my choices. You go ahead and eat your chocolates and your snacks and whatever you want to do. This is just about boundaries. And by thinking you have to make other people feel better about the boundaries you've set for yourself, at no point are you telling them that they can't eat that, or that they can't drink that, or they can't do that activity. But by feeling the pressure and guilt for not doing what they want you to do, you are turning their problem into your problem. This is a mindset shift. It's not their problem. It's not their problem. Yesterday, I wanted to go for a nap, as I've just said, at about 3. We'd had like a late lunch. I did actually have a beer before my lunch, and I think that was why I got so tired. So I won't be doing that again today. But I said, right, I'm going to go and lie down for half an hour. And a couple of the people that are here were like, I'm shocked. That's shocking that you're going for a lie down. And I was like, I just need, in fact, I didn't say that. I was like, no, I just need half an hour. What did I say? Yeah, I just need half an hour and then I'll be fine. But if I don't have that half an hour, then I'm going to be unhappy. And I don't want to be unhappy. I want to enjoy myself. Now, I didn't feel like I was explaining it. I could have just gone, all right, I'll stay here then. I didn't. I was like, no, I need a nap. I'm off. I'll be better for it. See you in half an hour. So stop making their needs your problem. They're not. Right, I'm pausing and coming back when I've helped with the shopping.